The sun rose slowly over the crystal towers of Arendar 7, casting long streaks of light across the city. Kai stood on a balcony of the central tower, his eyes scanning the horizon. The air was thick with anticipation. The rogue Aryans were gone, and the cosmic storm had been averted, but new intelligence warned of a greater danger approaching. A massive asteroid cluster, moving fast and capable of destroying the city if it collided. Lyra appeared beside him, her wings glimmering faintly in the morning light. Kai, this is bigger than the storm. If we fail, the city may not survive. Kai nodded, determination hardening his expression. We've handled impossible before. Humans may not be strong like Aryans, but we think differently. We can find a way. Lyra's violet eyes softened. Your courage, it is unmatched. But this is not only courage. You will need skill, creativity, and heart. Do you trust yourself? Kai took a deep breath. I trust humans to try, and I trust you to guide us. Together, we can do this. The command center buzzed with activity. Aryans and humans worked side by side, preparing the city's defenses. Energy shields flickered, pulsating with psychic power, and the city's crystal towers glowed as their cores synchronized to create a protective barrier. Yet the asteroid cluster was unpredictable. No shield alone could stop all of it. Lyra turned to Kai. You must act beyond what we teach. Use your mind, your instincts, and your heart. Humans are unpredictable, and that unpredictability may be our advantage. Kai's heart pounded. Then let's make it work. The first asteroids appeared as tiny specks against the sky. But they grew quickly, massive rocks tumbling toward the city. The Aryans calculated trajectories, but the numbers were overwhelming. There were too many, too fast, and the barriers alone would not hold. Kai studied the displays. His human mind worked differently from the Aryans. He noticed patterns in the asteroids, points where gravity and energy pulses could be redirected. He suggested a new approach, combining Aryan psychic shields with human-engineered energy pulses. Directing the asteroids safely away from the city, Lyra's eyes widened. That is unconventional, but perhaps it will work. Kai moved quickly, his hands flying over the consoles. We have to act now. Timing is everything. The first wave of asteroids hit the city's outer shields, sparks flying like fireworks. Energy flares lit up the sky, and cracks appeared in some towers. Humans and Aryans alike tensed. Kai recalculated, adjusting pulses and redirecting energy. His instincts guided him, and slowly, the asteroids began to veer away from critical structures. Lyra followed his lead, her psychic energy flowing through the system, amplifying his ideas with precision. You think differently. Humans, your creativity is incredible, she murmured. Kai grinned, sweat running down his face. We're not perfect. We just keep trying. Wave after wave of asteroids crashed against their shields. Each time, Kai improvised, combining instinct, timing, and Aryan precision. His mind worked in ways no Aryan could predict, creating solutions from chaos. Lyra's admiration grew with each success. You are extraordinary, Kai, she said softly. Humans, your kind may be small, fragile, but your heart and mind are unmatched. You see possibilities that others cannot. Kai felt a rush of pride. Being human isn't about strength. It's about courage, creativity, and trying when it matters most. The final wave of asteroids approached, larger and faster than before. Energy barriers were at their limit. The city shook as the rocks neared the outer shields. Kai's mind raced. He noticed a pattern. The asteroids formed a shape, a line of weak points. If he could create a synchronized pulse combining human improvisation and Aryan psychic power, they could redirect the entire cluster in one move. Lyra, we can do it together, he shouted. Lyra nodded, her wings shimmering. Trust yourself, Kai, lead. Kai focused his mind, imagining the energy pulse as an extension of his own body. He directed the shields, combined the energy flows, and let instinct guide him. The pulse shot out, a wave of light and power that intertwined with Lyra's psychic energy. The asteroids responded, shifting direction, spinning away from the city and crashing harmlessly into the empty plains beyond. The city trembled, but it held. Silence followed, broken only by the soft hum of the shields and the distant cries of relief. Humans and Aryans alike stared in awe. Kai sank to his knees, exhausted but victorious. Lyra hovered above him, her eyes shining with pride. Kai, you did it. A human saved our city. Your heart, your courage, your mind. It has changed everything. Kai smiled weakly. We did it together. Humans and Aryans. That's what matters. The elders approached, their expressions a mixture of shock and respect. Kai, one said, his voice trembling, your ingenuity, your courage, has proven that humans are more than we ever believed. You have shown us the strength of your kind. Not strength of body, but of heart and mind. Kai stood, finally feeling the weight of what he had accomplished. Humans may not be perfect, may not be the strongest, but we try. We create, we improvise, and we act. Sometimes, that is enough to change the world. Lyra hovered closer, wings folding gently behind her. Kai, you have shown us the true value of unpredictability, of courage, and of heart. I see now what humans can bring to the universe. Not only strength, but hope, creativity, and determination. Kai looked at her, exhaustion and pride mingling. I've always believed that humans can make a difference. I just didn't know it would matter so much here, in your world. Lyra's eyes softened. You are remarkable, Kai, not only for what you have done, but for who you are. Brave, persistent, and honest. Qualities our people often forget. You remind us that strength comes in many forms. Kai laughed softly. I guess humans are full of surprises. The citizens of the city cheered, both human and Aryan. They celebrated not only survival, but the new understanding that humans were more than they seemed. Not just fragile beings, but courageous, clever, and full of heart. Lyra took Kai's hand, a gesture rare among Aryans. You are extraordinary, Kai, and extraordinary is what the universe needs. Kai felt warmth spread through him. He had risked everything, trusted his instincts, and acted with his heart. And it had worked. Humans were not just survivors, they were innovators, problem solvers, and heroes in ways the universe had never imagined. As the sun set over the city, casting golden light across the crystal towers, Kai and Lyra looked at each other. They had faced storms, rogue factions, and cosmic threats, yet together they had triumphed. Humans had proven that courage, creativity, and heart could shine even in the darkest hours. Kai smiled. Lyra, I may be human, small and fragile, but I've learned something. No matter the odds, no matter how impossible it seems, if you trust your heart and try with everything you have, you can make a difference. Lyra nodded, her wings shimmering in the fading light. And today, Kai, you have made a difference that will be remembered forever, not only by humans, but by all Aryans. Your heart has shone brighter than any power we possess. Kai laughed softly. Then maybe humans aren't so small after all. Lyra smiled, her eyes filled with admiration. Not small, Kai, infinite, because your courage, your mind, and your heart, they are limitless. The city glowed under the starlight, peaceful at last. And somewhere above the towers, an alien girl had stopped, watched, and learned that even the smallest of beings could change the fate of worlds. Kai looked at Lyra, hope and determination in his eyes. Let's keep showing them what humans can do. Lyra nodded, her hand in his. Together, Kai, humans and Aryans. Together, anything is possible. And so, humanity shone not through wings, not through psychic power, not through sheer strength, but through courage, ingenuity, in the limitless heart of one human who dared to act, and one alien who dared to trust. The city of crystal towers shimmered under Arender 7's pale sun. But the beauty could not hide the tension in the air. Rogue Aryans had retreated, but their attack was only the beginning. Word spread quickly among the elders. A cosmic storm was approaching, powerful enough to destroy the entire city. Kai stood at the edge of the central plaza, looking at the floating towers and their delicate bridges. He had learned much about the Aryans' world since meeting Lyra, their precision, their psychic powers, their graceful elegance, but he knew one thing clearly. Humans could still offer something. The Aryans could not. Lyra hovered beside him, wings folded neatly behind her. The elders say humans must stay behind, she said softly. But Kai, I cannot leave this to them alone. You're kind. You think differently. You act differently. Perhaps only together can we survive this. Kai looked at her, determination burning in his chest. I'm human. I may not have psychic powers like you, or wings, or your abilities. But I can help. I'll find a way. Lyra's eyes softened. You are reckless, but brave. Follow me. If we fail, the city may be lost. And yet, if we succeed, humans may teach us what courage truly is. Kai nodded, feeling a mix of fear and excitement. Fear because the storm was enormous and unstoppable by normal means. Excitement because he had the chance to prove that human ingenuity and heart could make a difference, even among beings far more powerful than himself. Lyra led him to a chamber deep inside the central tower. The room was filled with glowing consoles, holographic screens, and pulsing energy crystals. This was the command center for the city's defenses. Aryans were already working to prepare shields and energy barriers. But the storm was growing faster than they could predict. Kai studied the equipment, curious. How does all this work? He asked. Lyra smiled faintly. Most humans would not understand. We channel psychic energy through the crystals, creating barriers and redirecting energy. It is precise, controlled, and delicate. Kai's eyes sparkled. Then maybe I can help. Maybe I can think in ways you don't expect. I'm not precise, but I can. Improvise. Lyra hesitated. Improvisation. Humans rely on instinct. Sometimes it works, sometimes it fails. But your instinct, it is unusual. Perhaps today, it is exactly what we need. Kai moved quickly to a console, studying the projections of the storm. He noticed patterns the Aryans had missed, small gaps in the shield formation, points where energy was weak, places where the storm could break through. He suggested changes, adjustments, combinations of techniques he had seen in his human work with machines and repairs. Lyra watched him carefully. You think differently, not with logic alone, but with feeling. You trust your heart as much as your mind. Kai smiled. That's how humans survive. We can't rely on strength or skill alone. We have to act, even when unsure. We have to try. Hours passed. The storm grew larger, its waves of energy rolling across the skies like a sea of fire. The Aryans moved with precision, but it was Kai's improvisation that began to make a difference. By combining human instinct with Aryan technology, they redirected energy pulses, strengthened weak points, and created barriers that seemed impossible. Lyra's eyes glimmered with admiration. Humans, your kind is more capable than I imagined. You are unpredictable, yet effective. Perhaps unpredictability is a kind of power. Kai's chest ached with effort, but he continued. Sometimes the heart sees solutions the mind cannot. Sometimes chaos can create order. Suddenly, the storm surged closer. A massive wave of energy threatening the city. An alert flashed across the consoles. If the barriers failed, the towers could collapse, sending shards of crystal into the streets below. Lyra turned to Kai. We need to act now. This is too large, too fast. But I cannot do it alone. Will you trust yourself? Kai took a deep breath. I have to. I trust humans to try even when it seems impossible. Together, they synchronized their efforts. Kai guided Lyra, suggesting new angles, new ways to combine the energy fields. He used his human creativity to think in curves, loops, and unexpected combinations the Aryans would never attempt. Lyra followed his lead, her psychic energy flowing through his ideas, amplifying and adjusting them with precision. The storm crashed against the barriers. Energy sparks flew, lighting up the sky in a dazzling display of light. Kai's heart pounded, fear mingled with determination. One wrong move could destroy the city. But he trusted himself, and he trusted Lyra. For a moment, the storm seemed unstoppable, its energy waves bending the barriers like water. Then, Kai had an idea. He tapped into his own instincts, combining human intuition with Lyra's psychic guidance. He created a pulse that the Aryans had never imagined, redirecting the storm's energy into a safe pattern, dissipating its fury slowly across the empty skies. Lyra's eyes widened. Incredible. A human solution. It worked. Kai collapsed to one knee, exhausted, his body trembling. I didn't know if it would, but sometimes you just have to try. The storm finally broke apart, leaving the city intact. Though shaken, towers glimmered with faint cracks, but nothing had fallen. The citizens of the city, both Aryans and humans, cheered quietly from the safety of their homes. Lyra hovered near Kai, her eyes reflecting pride and awe. You did it, against impossible odds. A human, guiding us through danger we could not face alone. Kai smiled weakly. I just used what humans do best. We think differently, we try when others hesitate, and we follow our hearts. Lyra's expression softened. Your heart, it is powerful, Kai. Perhaps humans have a strength we never saw before. Not in wings, not in psychic ability, but in courage, creativity, and persistence. Kai looked at her, tired but triumphant. Maybe being human isn't about being perfect. Maybe it's about doing what you can and never giving up. The elders arrived, their expressions a mix of relief and astonishment. Kai, one of them said cautiously, you have changed our view of your kind. Humans are not only fragile. You have shown that they can be more than we imagined. You have saved our city. Kai stood tall, finally feeling the weight of what they had accomplished. Humans may be small, but our hearts are big. We can surprise, and sometimes we can make the impossible happen. Lyra hovered closer, her wings brushing softly against his shoulders. You have taught us a lesson today, Kai, humans. Your unpredictability, your courage. It is something we must learn from. Perhaps together, humans and Aryans can face any challenge. Kai felt a warmth spread through him. For the first time, he realized that being human was not a limitation. His creativity, courage, and heart were strengths. Even in a world of beings far more powerful than himself, Lyra's gaze met his. Kai, you have chosen wisely. You trusted your heart, and your heart has led us to victory. Perhaps this is the beginning of something greater, something humans and Aryans can achieve together. Kai nodded. I hope so. I want to help, to learn, and to show that humans are more than anyone expects. The city below shimmered, repaired and safe. The threat of the storm now gone. Yet Kai knew this was only the beginning. Challenges would come, bigger than the storm. And the bond between human ingenuity and Aryan precision would be tested again. Lyra smiled faintly, a rare and delicate gesture. Kai, you are different, and different is sometimes exactly what the universe needs. Kai felt a swell of pride, exhaustion, and hope. For the first time, he understood the truth. Humans were not weak. Their hearts, courage, and ability to try against impossible odds were their greatest power. And now, with Lyra at his side, he felt that anything was possible. As night fell over the crystal towers, the city glowed softly under the stars. Kai and Lyra looked toward the horizon, knowing that together, human and Aryan, they could face whatever the universe might send. And Kai knew one more thing, the choice to act, to trust his heart, had not only saved the city, it had opened the door to a future filled with possibilities neither species had ever imagined. Kai could hardly sleep that night. His small room in the human quarters of Arendar 7 felt emptier than usual, even with the faint hum of machines outside. Thoughts of Lyra, the alien girl, whose mind had caught his secret feelings, swirled endlessly in his mind. Humans were rarely noticed here, and yet she had paused, stared, and spoken to him with a curiosity he could hardly comprehend. The next morning, Kai returned to work. The corridors were alive with Aryans, their silvery forms gliding gracefully above the metallic floors. Their movements were precise, almost to perfect, and their voices hummed like music through the air. Yet today, something felt different. Whispers followed him wherever he went. Aliens who usually ignored humans now glanced his way, some with suspicion, some with intrigue. Lyra appeared without warning, descending lightly from above. "You are here again," she said, her voice soft but firm. "Do you intend to continue your work despite knowing how unusual you are to us?" Kai smiled sheepishly. "I fix things. I survive. That's my way, and I guess I'm curious too. About you, about your people." Lyra tilted her head. "Curiosity. Humans are often punished for it here. But I sense something different in you. You are not reckless. You are persistent. And your mind. It works in ways mine cannot predict. Kai shrugged. I don't always know what I'm doing. I just try. Maybe that's why it works sometimes. Lyra's eyes glimmered. She led him to a narrow passageway that opened into a hidden chamber, unseen by most of the Aryans. The walls shimmered with faint light, and the air vibrated softly with psychic energy. This is where we test our abilities, she said. But humans are untested. Do you wish to see how your kind fares? Kai hesitated for a moment. Humans were not trained in psychic abilities, not like the Aryans. But the excitement in his chest grew. I want to try. Lyra nodded and instructed him to focus. Your mind must reach beyond fear. You must think clearly, but also allow your heart to guide you. Humans have a strange energy. If you can control it, you may surprise even yourself. Kai closed his eyes. He took a deep breath and focused on a small crystal hovering before him. Normally, the Aryans could move it with thought alone. Humans could not. But Kai's mind worked differently. He imagined the crystal moving as if it were an extension of his own hand. He felt the pulse of his heart and let it guide the intention. The crystal shivered. Then it moved, slowly at first, then faster, hovering steadily above his palm. Lyra's eyes widened. Impossible, a human. Moving a crystal with thought. Kai laughed nervously. I don't know how I did it. I just imagined it. Lyra studied him carefully. Your kind has potential, perhaps in ways we have never noticed. Most humans are weak physically, yes, but your mind, your heart, it is untamed, unpredictable. That is strength. Kai's confidence grew. Maybe being different isn't a bad thing. Over the next few hours, Lyra guided him through exercises to control small psychic movements, though humans were clumsy compared to her species. But Kai's strength lay not in finesse or control, but in creativity. Where an Aryan thought linearly, Kai improvised. When a crystal refused to obey a normal technique, he tried something entirely new, a combination of timing, emotion, and instinct. To Lyra's amazement, it worked. You humans, you do not follow rules the way we do, Lyra said, her voice filled with wonder. You break patterns, yet still succeed. That is remarkable. Kai grinned. We don't always succeed, but we keep trying. And sometimes, trying is enough. Just then, a sudden alarm echoed through the chamber. A rogue faction of Aryans had broken into the city, seeking control of the energy grid. These Aryans were powerful, aggressive, and determined. They were stronger than Kai, faster than Kai, and armed with abilities that could easily overwhelm a human. Lyra's eyes narrowed. Kai, stay behind. This is not your fight. Kai shook his head. I can't. If I stay behind, people could get hurt. I may be human, but I can try to help. Lyra hesitated. Humans were unpredictable in combat, often reckless. But sometimes their unpredictability worked in their favor. Very well, but follow my lead. The two of them moved swiftly through the corridors, Kai dodging blasts of psychic energy and shifting machinery. His human reflexes, honed through years of physical labor and problem-solving, allowed him to avoid attacks in ways the Aryans could not predict. He improvised barricades, rerouted power, and used his environment creatively. Lyra followed, amazed. Your mind. It works in ways I cannot predict. Humans. You are stronger than I imagined. The rogue Aryans cornered them in the main energy hall. Lyra prepared to fight, her wings shimmering with raw psychic power. But Kai acted first. He leapt onto a control panel, rerouted energy flows, and created a pulse that temporarily stunned the attackers. The move was chaotic, reckless, and imperfect, but it worked. Lyra's eyes widened in disbelief. Impossible. Your human mind. You turned their attack against them? Kai panted, sweat dripping from his forehead. We're not predictable, but we're clever. And sometimes, clever is enough. Together, they drove the attackers back. Kai's improvisation combined with Lyra's precise control created a synergy no Aryan had ever seen before. The rogue faction retreated, leaving the city shaken but unharmed when the fight ended. Lyra looked at Kai with a mixture of admiration and disbelief. Humans, your kind is not weak. You are extraordinary. Your mind, Your courage, your willingness to act, it is unusual. Kai smiled, though his chest heaved from exhaustion. Maybe being human isn't about strength or power. Maybe it's about heart, about trying when others would run, about doing what feels right, even if it seems impossible. Lara nodded slowly. Your heart, it is unmeasured by our standards. You are unpredictable, reckless, but also brilliant. Perhaps humans are the key to something we have long forgotten, courage beyond logic. Kai felt a warmth spread through him. He had always known humans were different, but he had never realized just how much. Here, on this alien world, he had shown that humans could make a difference, even against beings more powerful, more experienced, and more disciplined. You may have saved more than this sector, Lyra said softly, her voice carrying the faintest note of respect. You may have reminded us that strength is not always measured by skill or control, but by heart. Kai chuckled. I never thought I'd hear that from an Aryan. Lyra's wings shimmered, and she hovered closer. Perhaps your kind and mine are not so different. Perhaps together we can do more than either of us alone. Kai's heart raced. I'd like that. I really would. For the first time, Kai felt that being human weak, unpredictable, emotional was not a limitation. It was a strength. His courage, creativity, and heart had changed the outcome of the day, and perhaps, he thought, it might change the future too. Lyra studied him, her eyes reflecting 1,000 thoughts. I will watch you, Kai. I will see what humans are truly capable of. Perhaps the heart of one human can awaken something in all of us. Kai smiled. I hope it does. I really hope it does. As they returned to the quieter quarters, the city alive with alien light and distant hums, Kai realized something important. Humans might be small and fragile, but their unpredictability, their courage, and their willingness to act even when unsure were qualities the universe could not ignore. And perhaps, just perhaps, humans could teach even the most advanced alien species something they had forgotten. That the heart was as powerful as the mind, and sometimes stronger. Lyra glanced at him, a faint smile playing on her lips. You are different, Kai, and different is sometimes exactly what the universe needs. Kai's chest swelled with pride. For the first time, he felt that being human was not a disadvantage. It was a gift, and as he walked beside Lyra, he realized that this was only the beginning of something much larger, something that could change the fate of both humans and Aryans forever. Kai wiped the sweat from his brow as the sun dimmed behind the jagged peaks of Arender 7. The planet was harsh, its red dust swirling endlessly across the mining fields. Humans were rare here, often working among aliens who saw them as fragile, temporary visitors. But Kai had never minded. He liked being different. He moved carefully along the maintenance corridor, his boots clanking against the metallic floor. Sparks flew from a broken energy conduit above, threatening to fry the machinery around it. His heart pounded. He had faced dangerous repairs before, but this one was different. If the conduit failed, it could collapse the energy grid for the entire mining sector. As he reached for the tools, a sudden thought escaped him, not out loud, but in the deep, secret place of his mind. She's so beautiful. I wish she were mine. He froze, realizing too late that the new telepathic interface installed above the corridor had amplified his thoughts. What was meant to be private now spilled into the air and into the mind of someone else. Lyra stopped mid-flight, hovering above the corridor in her silvery, shimmering form. The Aryans were graceful, ethereal beings with wings that glowed faintly under the dim lights. She blinked, her large violet eyes focused on Kai. His words had reached her directly, not through sound, but through the strange, silent language of the heart. Kai felt his face flush red. He had never met Lyra before, but her presence was mesmerizing. Her aura shimmered like liquid starlight, and her eyes held the calm wisdom of centuries. Humans were taught to be careful around Aryans. They valued control and order above all. But Kai's thoughts had crossed the invisible line anyway. You spoke. In your mind, Lyra said softly, almost amused. Her voice carried in his mind like a gentle wind. Do you know what you just did? Kai stammered, trying to find words. I didn't mean. It was private. I didn't. He stopped. He realized she could hear every half-formed thought, every tiny emotion. Humans were fragile, yes, but their emotions were sharp and messy. And messy emotions, it seemed, were something Aryans were not prepared for. Lyra tilted her head. Humans, you are dangerous in ways we do not understand. Kai swallowed. Dangerous? Me, I'm just a human. He sounded small, but in truth, he felt larger than he had ever felt before. His heart raced not from fear, but from the thrill of being seen, truly seen. The corridor around them was silent. Other aliens passed by, their eyes flicking briefly at the unusual interaction. No one dared to intervene. Humans rarely interacted with the Aryans in this way. They were often ignored, underestimated, or kept at a distance. But something in Kai's honesty had captured Lyra's curiosity. I need to fix that conduit, he finally said, trying to regain his focus. It's going to blow if I don't. Lyra's wings shimmered. She moved closer, inspecting the conduit. You humans, you risk so much without fear. I cannot understand it. Kai chuckled nervously. We're not fearless. We're just stubborn, I guess. And sometimes we feel things more strongly than others. Like right now, I couldn't stop thinking what I just thought. Lyra stared at him, her expression unreadable. Her species rarely spoke of feelings openly. Aryans value precision, order, and collective harmony. Individual emotion was seen as chaotic. But Kai's words were honest, unfiltered, and raw. Your honesty. It disrupts me, she admitted. You humans are curious creatures. Fragile, yet bold. Weak, yet capable of surprising strength. Kai laughed softly. I don't feel strong. I feel small, actually. But I guess small doesn't mean useless. Lyra considered his words carefully. Then, almost imperceptibly, she nodded. Perhaps there is something about humans we have never noticed. Something valuable. Kai's hands worked quickly on the conduit, his tools moving with practiced efficiency. Sparks flew again, and he dodged them with reflexes born of experience, not instinct alone. Lyra watched, fascinated. Humans lacked the psychic abilities that her kind relied on. Yet his quick thinking and improvisation allowed him to handle the danger with skill. She had never seen you do things differently, she said softly. And yet it works, efficiently. Kai shrugged. We have too. We don't have wings, or psychic shields, or glowing bodies. We only have our minds, our hands, and a lot of stubbornness. Lyra tilted her head, a thoughtful expression on her face. Stubbornness, yes. That may be your strength. Perhaps humans are capable of more than we allow ourselves to believe. Finally, the conduit clicked into place. Energy flowed smoothly, lights flickered back on, and the immediate danger passed. Kai exhaled, wiping the sweat from his brow again. He glanced at Lyra, who hovered nearby, wings folded neatly behind her. You saved this sector, she said quietly. And yet, you risked your life for a task that, by all logic, you should have avoided. Wang Kai met her gaze. Because it had to be done. And because I wanted to. I may be small, and I may be human, but my choices are mine. Lyra's eyes shimmered. For a moment, Kai thought he saw the faintest trace of a smile. Aryans rarely smiled, except in moments of extreme approval or delight. Humans, you are unpredictable. Dangerous, yet fascinating. Kai's heart pounded. I guess, maybe that's what makes us interesting. Lyra hovered closer, so close that he could feel a faint hum of energy radiating from her wings. I have observed humans before, she said softly, but never one who speaks in the heart so openly. Most of you hide your feelings. You fear being understood. Kai laughed nervously. Well, sometimes it's hard to hide. And sometimes it's worth the risk. Lyra looked at him for a long moment, studying every nuance of his expression, every flicker of emotion. Perhaps humans have a courage we cannot measure. And perhaps that courage is not physical, but something deeper, something in the heart. Kai felt warmth flood him. For the first time in his life, a being as extraordinary as Lyra looked at him and did not dismiss him. Instead, she seemed intrigued, curious, perhaps even admiring. I should go, Lyra said finally, stepping back. But I will watch you, human. Your choices. Your heart they are. Different, Kai nodded, unsure if she meant it as a warning or a compliment. I'll be here, fixing things, surviving, and learning. I guess that's what humans do best. Lyra tilted her head, wings shimmering faintly. I will remember you, Kai. Perhaps. One day, humans and Aryans will understand each other better. Perhaps your kind will teach us something we have long forgotten. And with that, she turned, her wings catching the fading light, and glided away into the city of crystal towers above. Kai watched her disappear, his heart racing. He stood there for a moment, breathing heavily. The corridor was silent again, but the echo of her presence lingered. Humans were small, fragile, and often underestimated, but somehow, today, Kai felt larger than the stars themselves. He had spoken in his heart, and the universe had listened. Kai smiled to himself. He didn't know what the future held. He didn't know if he would ever see Lyra again. But he did know this: humans were not weak. Not truly. Their courage, their heart, their willingness to act despite fear, that was strength the universe could never ignore. And somewhere above, an alien girl had stopped in mid-flight, captivated by the audacity of a human's heart.